Dragon Ball, the series that for some reason has the most toxic fan base. You can talk about any fictional character, and then a Dragon Ball fan will hit you with the iconic, "Can he beat Goku though?" Yeah, my little cousin just beat cancer. We're so proud of him.
Can he beat Goku though?
I got this video idea from this guy, so you can go check him out. I'll put the link to his video in the description. But one thing about his video that it doesn't include is any of the original Dragon Ball villains, which sucks because original Dragon Ball is kinda awesome and no one talks about it. When I first started watching Dragon Ball, I thought Z was the star of the series, but then when I launched Hulu, I saw there was no Z, but instead just Dragon Ball, which is where our journey begins. Starting off with Emperor Pilaf, Mai, and Shu. They're okay as beginning villains. But if they were in any other arc, they'd get brutally anal raped by Goku. That's a hint for what comes later. What's cool about them is that even though they aren't as strong as Goku, they kind of beat him with intelligence. Pilaf uses mazes with pinball traps to get Goku and friends to be imprisoned. And then when Goku breaks out and ruins his wish, he traps him in a glass box capable of stopping Goku's Kamehameha. But of course, Pilaf runs away after Goku unleashes his inner black man and turns into a monkey. I give Pilaf a 4 out of 10, Mai 10 out of 10, because yeah damn! But for real, a 6 out of 10, just because she's somewhat important later in Dragon Ball Super. And then Shu is 7 out of 10, just because I like dogs. Next up we have the Red Ribbon Army arc, which I don't really like, it takes up way too much time. Let's get this started with the first guy, Colonel Silva. Moving on, General White. He's a cool guy, lives in a tower full of men in the middle of nowhere, but just like Silver, he was taken out pretty quickly. His only notable feat is smoking Goku with a hyper gun. But bro doesn't realize that Goku's the main character and gets fucked. 5 out of 10. Next up, General Blue, the gayest man of all of Dragon Ball. I feel like they made General Blue way too powerful with his psychic abilities. He's able to freeze Goku in place and use ropes to paralyze people and suck away their strength. Why has no one else bothered to learn this? If Piccolo had managed to learn any of these paralysis techniques by the time Raditz arrived on Earth, Goku wouldn't have had to die. 3 out of 10 just for him being gay as fuck. Next up is Tao Pai Pai. I definitely fucked it up spelling that in my script. A mercenary hired by Commander Red. Don't worry, you midget, I'll get back to you in a moment. And first off, I'm very biased towards mercenaries. They are cool as fuck. I would totally be a mercenary if I still wasn't in high school. Or was able to kill people. Name one mercenary that isn't cool. Deadpool, Cad Bane, Taskmaster, and the A-Team. I gotta stop dick riding mercenaries. Anyway, back to Tao Pai Pai. Tao Pai Pai is a menace who, when we first meet, he kills General Gay and uses a pillar as a surfboard and rides through the sky. Now while Tao Pai Pai is a badass, he does fuck up a bit. Like how he ends up fucking killing himself to a grenade. Imagine, you've almost killed Goku, the main character, and while rematching him, you throw a grenade at him, Goku kicks it back at you, and the grenade fucking ends your life. Damn bro, you gotta get a 6 out of 10 for that, but oh no, we're not done. Nah. Bro, guess what? This man is the original Frieza, and he is brought back as a cyborg who tries to fight Goku in the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai tournament, but fucking dies to Tien Shinhan. So that's gonna bring him down to 5 out of 10. Commander Red. Listen, Goku attacking the Red Ribbon Army's base was cool, seeing this 13-year-old beat the shit out of the world's strongest army, but then we learned that the leader is a fucking midget. And bro doesn't want the Dragon Balls to get world domination, he wants to use them to get taller. 9 out of 10, great use for the Dragon Balls. Next up is Staff Officer Black. Bro puts up a fight, but Goku believes that in black on black crime, Monkey versus Black Man, and blows up his battle jacket. 7 out of 10, bro was just funny. For the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai tournament, I'll cover Chiaotzu and Tien. I thought about covering Master Shen, but Goku never fought him, so it's kind of pointless. Although, Goku didn't fight Chiaotzu either. Fuck it, I'm ranking him anyway. When Chiaotzu was first introduced, I fucking loved him because he's cute and funny. If only he was a female. And real. But shit ended up being flipped in Z, where after dying to Nappa, he becomes useless. Bro was nowhere to be seen. He isn't the most powerful fighter, but you know, he's got pretty good psychic abilities, so he could be useful in some situations. You're telling me that he couldn't have helped against the androids in any way? The only time we see Chiaotzu after the Saiyan saga is in the Buu saga, when he survives Buu's human extinction beam, just to die shortly after. 6 out of 10, they really did my boy dirty. Next up is Tien, another villain I loved when he first was introduced. He seemed like the perfect counter to Goku. He was just as strong as him, which is honestly funny how this grown-ass man who's been training most of his life is beamed by a strong 14-year-old. I don't care if Goku is an alien, Tien is still just on par with this child alien. All his fights are pretty cool, even later in the series when he's fighting Cell, but just like every other Z fighter, he's quickly forgotten about since he isn't as strong as Goku or Vegeta. Oh wait, didn't he fight Beerus? Even if just for a little bit, he did fight against him, and he was also in the Tournament of Power. I'm pretty sure he got a couple of people eliminated before he got eliminated himself. I'll give him an 8 out of 10. He's pretty cool, and he's still in the series, unlike some people. King Piccolo, to describe him in a single sentence would be...
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
King Piccolo looked like a threat that was impossible to defeat. His first introduction was when one of his henchmen killed Krillin and stole Goku's Dragon Ball. King Piccolo was terrifying and really shows some of the darker sides of Dragon Ball. The first time he fights Goku while in Old State, he almost kills him, and then when he fights Master Roshi, Chiaotzu, and Tien, and ends up killing Roshi and Chiaotzu. He then gathers the Dragon Balls and wishes to become young forever, making him even stronger, and then he kills Shenron, the Eternal Dragon. Granted, I don't think Shenron is strong, but I assume you have to be decently powerful enough to at least kill that dragon. I mean, have you seen his size? He's ridiculously huge. King Piccolo then takes over the world, destroys a few cities, makes crime legal everywhere, and for the fun of it, proceeds to fight Goku. And... well, it was fun while it lasted, but King Piccolo didn't give up there. Before Goku actually killed him, King Piccolo imported all his DNA into an egg. Yeah, Piccolo can actually spit eggs like Birdo. He spat it across the world, creating Piccolo Jr., one of the greatest characters by far. King Piccolo easily gets a 10 out of 10 from me. For the longest time, I've said he's one of my favorite Dragon Ball villains, which might seem weird to some, but I think it's pretty reasonable. Throughout the entire arc, King Piccolo creates a sense of dread that I've only ever felt with Hunter x Hunter during the Chimera Ant arc. It seems like everything Goku does means nothing when compared to King Piccolo, and that he's just an unstoppable force that not even someone like Goku can beat. This being the final arc of OG Dragon Ball finishes off pretty strongly, with the only real villain being Piccolo Jr., who Goku returns to fight after training with God. Piccolo Jr., I'm just going to call him Piccolo since that's pretty much just his name. He's a pretty cool villain. He seems more evil than his father and even stronger, but I don't know, maybe it's just because Piccolo didn't get enough time to show how evil he really is before he becomes good in Z. But in the anime, which is what I watched, Piccolo's first scene saving a little girl from a collapsing building, so he seems more like an anti-hero right now, which I guess becomes true later on. But I just didn't like Piccolo during the 23rd Budokai. Doesn't mean I didn't like him throughout Z or Super. He's a badass character who, thanks to him, is why we have Gohan being so strong now. So he gets a nice 8 out of 10. Dragon Ball Z's star villain is Goku's evil brother Raditz, who from the moment he arrives is shown to be the toughest motherfucker yet. Piccolo fights Raditz and Raditz gets 0 damage from him. Piccolo would have died if it wasn't for the fact that Raditz sensed Goku's ki energy and decided to leave Piccolo alone. Raditz seemed really cool and I would have loved to see him more later on, but unfortunately he meets his death at the same time as Goku, when Piccolo fires his special beam cannon through Goku and Raditz, killing them both. Ever since the Saiyan saga, Raditz hasn't been mentioned at all. The first time he was mentioned after the Saiyan saga was in the Granola saga, when Goku tells Gas not to trust Elec. Raditz gets a 7 out of 10. I really hope he returns in some way, because it would seem interesting how he would interact with things on Earth, like Vegeta being good and living on Earth, even having a kid, and possibly even seeing Raditz go Super Saiyan. Next up is Nappa, the dude who I didn't think anyone cares about. I swear. No one cares. Nappa was pretty cool. He was definitely powerful. He alone killed 3 Z fighters, but he, like others before him, thought he was stronger than the main character, and he got absolutely fucked. Don't look up Goku fucks Nappa online. There's too much porn! Nappa gets a solid 8 out of 10. I think bro's funny, and in the games we get to see what Super Saiyan Nappa would look like. Next up is the Prince of Saiyans, the bitch dealer of bitch dealers, the baddest dude with the raddest tude, the just okay villain. I don't know, when Vegeta was first introduced, I didn't really like him. But then he fought Goku and I thought, he was pretty sick. Then he became a pussy. And then he fought Frieza. Then went back to being boring. My feelings for Vegeta is like a roller coaster. He's rarely cool outside battles, and his personality in early Dragon Ball was just being an asshole. And then it became only being a slight asshole. As the story goes on, Vegeta does get a bit cooler until he becomes Majin Vegeta. And my feelings for him drops like Chelsea from the boys. But then he comes back by fusing with Goku, and I start to like him again. Something that's interesting about Vegeta is that Toriyama originally planned on having Vegeta die during the Saiyan saga. He didn't even like Vegeta at the time, but he was so popular that he just kept him around for the Frieza saga. Vegeta gets an 8 out of 10. He definitely has his moments, but I guess I'm not a Vegeta guy. But also this makes up for it.
For the main event of Bulma's birthday, the Bingo Tournament! Bingo! Bingo! Bingo!
Okay, he's been drinking more than Gohan.
Fight time bingo! Ha! This is a fun place to be, oh yeah! The food is tasty too, yum! Let's go play, oh, let's be friends, oh! Fun time bingo! It's time to play some bingo!
I watched this movie when I was at school, and while watching the scene, I tried my hardest not to laugh, dude. Next up is a creature who's easily my top 3 favorite Dragon Ball villains. He's the biggest threat in all of Dragon Ball, and he's probably going to be the final boss of everything. He's Frieza. Frieza is one fucking awesome guy. He's just like me. He's racist.
You monkey!
Only one other guy in anime has a chance at being more racist than Frieza, and that's Geto, but he lacks action. Geto doesn't like non-jujutsu sorcerers, so what does he do? He wants to fuse them all into Tengen. Frieza, he doesn't like the entire species, so he nukes the fucking planet and slays the last few stragglers. Frieza is honestly him, there's no other way to describe it. Frieza was born so powerful that he had to make forms just to make himself weaker. That's right, you see this right here? This isn't actually what he looks like. This is called his first form, but this isn't what he actually is. This is a form that he made to suppress his actual power. Frieza never trained a day in his life until Dragon Ball Super, and he had the power to take over an entire galaxy. He was literally an emperor. That's something that I forget about a lot of times, is that he controlled an entire galaxy. Frieza during the Frieza saga is such a looming threat. He doesn't do anything until the very end, but we're told about how powerful he is, and at the start of the saga we see him blow up a mountain just to demonstrate his power. And that's all we get until the very end, when Frieza fights and just starts going through all his transformation. He transforms into his final form just to flex. He didn't have to, he just wanted to scare everyone. Now as we all know, Goku fights Frieza, and at the end of the fight, Goku gives some of his energy to Frieza so that he can escape Planet Namek. But just like Judas to Jesus, Frieza betrays Goku. But it backfires and Goku just kills Frieza. And that's it. Frieza was such a popular character even though he only appeared for a single saga in Z. And he barely fought until the very end, and yet he's probably one of the most recognized Dragon Ball characters outside Goku. But he comes back in Dragon Ball Super and he's pretty powerful. Frieza is brought back to life and he trains for only 4 months and he manages to learn a new transformation called Golden Frieza. He manages to beat Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and destroy Earth. But then he dies to Goku again, but then is brought back for the Tournament of Power. Before I watched the Tournament of Power, I heard Frieza sucked during it, but he was pretty good. He was tactical, he pretended to team up with his alternate universe self, Frost, and he gives Goku energy to fight Jiren, and even helps Goku fight Jiren, which led to them winning. Frieza has been shown recently to have undergone 10 years of training in some kind of hyperbolic time chamber. Frieza Black is what he calls his new form, and with it he managed to one-shot Ultra Instinct Goku and Ultra Ego Vegeta, which makes people think he's pretty powerful, more powerful than someone like Beerus. But Goku and Vegeta had just fought Gas, who was very tough, the strongest opponent they had fought up till then, and they were tired. beat into a bloody pulp. They were on their last legs. It would have been like if I challenged Mike Tyson to a boxing match, but I shot him 15 times to the chest and then slit his throat before the boxing match started. Yeah, I beat him at boxing, but you know, he was already gonna die before I did anything. I think we need to see Frieza Black again before we make any assumptions, but Frieza is definitely easily a 10 out of 10, probably one of my favorite villains. With the Frieza saga over, let's move on to the main villains of the Android saga, that being Android 19 and 20, Androids 18, 17, and 16, Cell. Alright, finally, we found the real villain. The reasons the villain were changing so much during the sagas is because the Dragon Ball editor was a prick. He didn't like any of the villains Toriyama made originally. He didn't like how Jero and 19 were just an old man and a clown. So Toriyama changed it to be siblings, but the editor said they looked too much like brats. The evil androids look too much like brats. So Toriyama had to change the villain again, so he made Cell, which worked. The constant changing of villains during the saga was weird and totally unplanned, but Cell works pretty well. But his backstory is, well, it's pretty confusing. So pretty much Cell was made by a supercomputer using the DNA of Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Frieza, and King Cold. Jero made a supercomputer to help grow Cell after he died. In the future where Trunks kills the android, Cell wakes up and kills that Trunks, using his time machine to go back in time so he can absorb the androids and become perfect. When he goes back in time, he regresses to a larva state. So he lands back in time, and then he buries himself into the ground until he was no longer a larva and he grows stronger. Yeah, his backstory is a handful. The cell of our main timeline is aborted before he even has a chance to think. Just like real abortions. Cell, as I said during his backstory, wants to absorb androids 18 and 17 because they were designed to have their DNA merged. So once he finds android 17, he uses his tail to turn DBZ into a Vor hentai and becomes semi-perfect Cell. Fuck yeah, he did. Cell then pulls a reverse EDP and searches for a girl who's 18. And just because Krillin is a fucking simp who didn't want to kill 18... Okay, maybe I understand why Krillin didn't kill her, but still. Cell finds her, and then kills her. Cell turns into perfect Cell, and... whoo boy, is that the right name. Brother is truly perfect. He beats the shit out of Vegeta and Trunks, and it's like, aight, so y'all want to kill me? Let's turn it into a game. So he announces to the entire world that he will hold a competition for people to fight him, one at a time. But by the time he fights Goku, he decides to abandon those rules and blows up the arena he made for the Cell games. And then he's like, aight, so you want to kill me? I'll just kill all of you. Cell was a pretty good villain. He was smart, strong, he had some cool abilities, which all came from other fighters. Regeneration as Piccolo, Kamehameha from Goku, Tail from Frieza. But Cell also ends up attaining Super Saiyan when he fucking nukes himself, and he also learns how to keep his perfect form even after he throws up Android 18. He learns instant transmission after Goku used it on him once. Cell was pretty stacked, but he wasn't stacked enough to survive a father-son Kamehameha from Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, and ends up dying.
Vegeta! Now's your chance!
Do you guys ever hear about the Pokemon controversy that in the anime, in one of the episodes, there was too much flashing lights, so kids with epilepsy started having seizures while watching it, and because of that, a Pokemon Porygon has been banned from ever being allowed to show up in the anime again? How did Dragon Ball not cause like the same reaction that did? Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, that's right. No. Cell's amazing. I give him a 9 out of 10. Not as good as Frieza, but he's definitely great. Now we get to what was supposed to be the final villain for Dragon Ball. A piece of bubblegum. A while ago I planned on making a video talking about Majin Buu, but I ended up scrapping the idea, but hey, now I get to talk about him here. Buu, in my opinion, is a pretty entertaining villain. Not because he's smart, always one step ahead of the heroes, or anything like that. He's just great because he's strong for the sake of being strong. Buu is some ancient evil demon being made by an even more ancient wizard, Bibidi. But Bibidi was defeated by the Kais, leaving his son Babidi to revive Buu, who was left sealed on Earth. Do you see the naming pattern yet? Bibidi, Babidi, Buu.
Salagadoola, menchikaboola, bibbidi bobbidi.
Buu looks like your average American, being fat as shit. But he ain't just fat, that's also pure muscle. He shows us how strong he is when he beats the fuck out of Gohan, Supreme Kai, and even Vegeta. Vegeta even pulls out an and tries to detonate himself, but Buu just takes his exploded chunks and puts them back together. Buu is shown to have some great magic and can turn people into candy and eat them. The Vor fetish people must love this arc. Buu goes all over the world with Babidi and turns people into candy and eating them to draw out Goku. And it works. Kinda. Goku decides to fight Buu and Babidi while Trunks sneaks into West City to grab the Dragon Radar. It's here Goku shows off Super Saiyan 3 for the first time and beats the shit out of Buu. And Goku reveals later on that he could have killed Buu at this time, but chose not to. I can't even express how retarded this makes Goku look. I get that Goku's the type of person who wants to fight his opponent when they're at their strongest, but we're also shown earlier in the show, during this arc, and even in Super, that he will fight for the sake of protecting his family, friends, and even the Earth.
I will not let you destroy my world!
Goku really fucked up by not killing Buu here, but he said it was so he could train the next generation to be able to handle these kind of threats since he won't always be around. I mean, I guess that makes sense, but like, just send them to Boy Scouts over the summer. Goku ends up fighting Buu anyway later on, when Gohan, Goten, and Trunks are all killed. Buu is funny as hell, and way too strong for his own good, but still. Also, Buu is way ahead of the times. He understood the negative impact that the media has on people's perception of other people's bodies.
What this? So Earth girls like boys pretty like this, huh? How Boo's supposed to live up to body image in magazines?
Buu gets an 8 out of 10. If it wasn't for the fact that Super just loves to blue ball the fuck out of us. First, the Universe 6 tournament. Buu fucking falls asleep in the anime and failed a test in the manga, so for the tournament, he's not in it. And then for the other tournament Power, he got buff as hell, he looked awesome, and then he fell asleep. Buu, you need some fucking Dayquil in your life. You need to stop sleeping. 6 out of 10 just because he fucking pisses me off. Dragon Ball Super originally started as a Dragon Ball Z movie, nothing more. But I heard that the live-action Dragon Ball movie released in 2009 made Toriyama want to start writing Dragon Ball again, but I can't really prove if that's right or not. The first villain of this return is a pretty decent one. Beerus isn't really a villain nor a hero. He's a god of destruction, one of the most powerful beings in Universe 7. Was the most powerful. Beerus is originally on a quest to find a Super Saiyan god, who he believes can rival him in power. So he visits King Kai's planet to talk to Goku, where Beerus proceeds to beat the shit out of Goku. He then goes to Earth to talk to Vegeta, but is annoyed when Buu eats all the pudding at Bulma's birthday party. Fucking pink piece of shit. So Beerus fights all the Z-Fighters before deciding to just blow up Earth, until Goku arrives, and then through some satanic ritual, Goku becomes a god, but he still loses to Beerus. Beerus originally seemed cool, but over the course of time, he just became comic relief. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't mind characters being funny in Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball did originally start as a comedy anime and shit like that. I mean, if you look at the original chapters, Goku literally fights a guy who turns people into carrots, and then launches him into space to make marshmallows on the moon. Like, Dragon Ball is wacky, but with Beerus, he's introduced to be a terrifying, scary god that no one can defeat. And it's been that way for a while, and then suddenly it just went from scary god to man who loves food. And he never even fights anymore. Toriyama finds any excuse not to let him fight. While Goku and Vegeta were fighting Moro and losing, Beerus says he'll step in and fight Moro, but then the Grand Priest suddenly has a request of him at that very moment. The only time we see Beerus do anything useful was killing Zamasu.
Hakai.
Beerus gets an 8 out of 10, and I really hope they can be used in more fights now that Goku's fighting god level enemies. He has some real potential in there. Seeing as the Universe 6 tournament has a lot of characters I can rank, I'm only going to choose 3 important ones that I feel like deserve to be ranked. Want to guess which 3 I'm picking? Well, too bad, your time's up. It's Frost, Kaba, and Hit. 4 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. There you go, it's fucking over, you idiots. For real though, Frost is literally just Frieza. That's the point. Yeah, I understand that's the point, but he doesn't really have anything special about him, except for the fact that he's portrayed as a good person in his universe until Goku reveals his true intentions. Frost is boring. Toriyama could have definitely done better. 4 out of 10. Kaba, while not a villain, was an antagonist, because as the Oxford Dictionary defines,
an antagonist is a person who actively opposes or is hostile to someone or something. An adversary.
Kaba was okay. It was nice seeing another Saiyan outside of Broly. He wasn't introduced yet. I really don't care, dude. Kaba, though, I find annoying. I didn't like his design. His limbs look like twigs. He shouldn't be able to spar with people like Goku or Vegeta so casually. Also, Super Saiyan. He got that way too easily. Goku witnessed his best friend dying, not knowing if he could be brought back to life or not, and he had to risk his own life to save him and his son. Goku was on the verge of losing everything while fighting Frieza, and that is what drew out the power of the Super Saiyan. Vegeta had lost all his pride after being defeated by a Saiyan he saw lesser than him. He was killed by Frieza, his mortal enemy, and once again embarrassed by Goku by becoming the legendary Super Saiyan. That led to his anger coming to a peak, and that's how he obtained Super Saiyan while training. Kaba had his parents threatened. If that unlocked Super Saiyan for him, being on a Call of Duty lobby in 2010 would unlock Super Saiyan 3 for him. 6 out of 10. Could be better, could be worse. Now Hit. Hit is pretty cool and weirdly overpowered. He's a famous assassin from Universe 6 who has the ability of time skipping. He can only time skip by a fraction of a second, but it's still enough to throw Goku for a loop. Hit has a bad boy attitude about him, and it kinda reminds me of Jotaro from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, 7 out of 10. Just like Kaba, he could be better, could be worse. He was honorable as fuck, so you know what, bonus points to that. And him during the tournament power was pretty cool, seeing him fight Jiren, even though he did kind of lose horribly. What do you get when you mix Goku and the color black? Goku Black, how'd you guess? Goku Black was honestly kind of cool. I had no idea who he was when I started watching, so learning his true identity alongside Goku and Vegeta was cool. The creation of Goku Black, though, is kind of interesting since it's a paradox. The sequence of events is Future Trunks is attacked by Goku Black, and Trunks goes back in time to get Goku to fight Goku Black with him. Goku fights Black, learns that he has similar ki to this dude Zamasu that he met earlier, fights Zamasu, which leads Zamasu to becoming Goku Black. But if it wasn't for Future Trunks to come fighting Goku Black, and then returning to the past to get Goku to help him, then Goku Black would have never existed. God damn, I said Goku Black way too much during that entire sentence. I should really reconsider my life. This entire sequence of events makes just as much sense as Eren altering the past in Attack on Titan. Black has a unique moveset, being part God and part Saiyan. Super Saiyan Rose was interesting, which makes me think if Goku will ever be able to obtain Rose. I don't know how that works, so it's a possibility, maybe, maybe not. Black is extremely popular, and I hear a lot of people talking about him, even now, and people are constantly comparing him to modern villains. But why did his saga have to end so badly? Toriyama made Black too powerful. He was part immortal, part indestructible. Black fuses with his past version of himself while fighting Trunks, Vegeta, and Goku, and ends up getting cut in half, and so he goes all out, becoming Infinite Zamasu. And now we get to play my favorite game ever, choosing your favorite Infinite Zamasu! Yeah, for some reason the manga and anime have different Infinite Zamasus. I see a lot of people say their favorite version is the manga, but I don't know, I just like the animes more. The manga is just a bunch of Zamasus, meanwhile the anime has Zamasu fused with the universe. It doesn't look as good as it could, but I feel like the anime just seems more threatening, which validates Zeno erasing the timeline, compared to in the manga erasing trillions of life just because there's a bunch of the same god that he probably could have killed if he wanted to. 7 out of 10. Black could have been better, but Zamasu just brings him down by a whole lot. Although thanks to Black, we have this iconic clip.
Plan B! This is for everyone you've killed! England, murderer!
Hold your fire! This man isn't black!
What?
Next up is the Tournament of Power, a fight between 8 universes for survival. Just like with the Universe 6 tournament saga, I'm only going to rank Jiren. Jiren and Top are both powerful opponents who make a lot of trouble for Goku, but I don't know, Jiren just seemed like the biggest bad. Everyone else you can just forget about. He managed to surpass the God of Destruction for his universe, something that Goku hadn't managed to do at the time. That's debatable. It took 4 people to stop Jiren, and even then they didn't even beat him. Goku and Frieza had to sacrifice themselves to knock him off the stage so that Android 17 could be the winner. Jiren was pretty cool, and thanks to him we got Ultra Instinct, and hopefully we can see him come back later in the series during his second Tournament of Power, or maybe just to help Goku fight Frieza later on. I don't know, possibilities are endless. But at the end of the day, he's a pretty cool dude. He gets an 8 out of 10 for me. Now obviously this list is 100% subjective. I don't expect anyone to agree with how I feel about any of these guys. If you want to leave your own rankings in the comments and fight amongst yourselves, that's good for me. I'll see how you all feel about Raditz. But if you guys want to have me make a second part covering the guys from the manga, because I know I skipped out on Moro and Granola, just leave a like and that'll let me know that you guys want me to make more shit like this. Alright, well, see y'all later.